Hello. Today I come to you with what is partially a flex, but mostly an important message for a connection that I think BookTube is majorly missing out on. So first, the flex. I wanted to share with you a little bit of my indie ARC or indie review copy collection. Most of them are signed because I always ask for them signed. You never know when some author's gonna take off and I get to be the cool collector with their early work signed. But also, I've gotten some ebook copies and I've got some more coming. So because of the amount I have, I'm not going to say too much about any one book in particular. If I have already reviewed it, it will be on the Indie Books playlist or the book review playlist. And I will have a link down below. I'm not linking every video specifically. Or if it hasn't been reviewed yet, it will. Every book here, with one exception, and I'll get to that, will be somewhere on my channel in a video review. So first, let's start with the books that I've already reviewed. These will be very short because there's literally 8 to 15 minute videos on each of these, so you don't need more. Starmark Rising by Shami Stovall, the first I ever reviewed, a space opera about a guy that wants to live on a planet instead of a space station. There are explosions. I loved this. Only Words by Summer Kiska, a more recent entry, an NA fantasy where a Celtic witch has been cursed and her sisters might want to kill her. Also loved that. Tunnel of Time. Oh, did I say by Summer Kiska? Sorry, Summer. Tunnel of Time by Jeannie Chambers, an adorable mid-grade fantasy about 3 sisters who get caught in a carnival ride and might travel through time accidentally. Cenote Cine, a novella that I'm confused at how to describe. It is Hispanic, own voices, Latinx, and it's about a woman who cries into a cenote and it's surreal and it's non-linear and I'm still not totally sure what the ending was about. But I will also have that review in the playlist. Nightmare Arcanist, also by Shami Stovall, a YA flintlock fantasy about a young boy who wants to become what is known as an arcanist, a magician tied to an eldrin or an ancient mythical creature, but has to help his mythical creature solve the murder of his previous arcanist. So those are all the ones that I have reviewed. Also, the most recent to go up is Monstrosity by Laura Diaz de Arce. This is a short story collection ranging from contemporary to fantasy to sci-fi with a bunch of Chilean and Cuban folklore mixed in. And also coming up that has not come out yet, it is about to come out. I have a video that will come out for Cheap Tricks by Mara Miller. This is a contemporary adult romance about a young woman who comes back from an archaeological dig in Peru to find the brother of her ex-turned-best friend is kind of hot. Also currently reading Duckett and Dyer Dicks for Hire by G.M. Nair. This is about 2 people who realize that someone's put up advertisements for their detective agency. The problem is they don't have one, and one of them decides, screw it, let's be detectives, and apparently like time travel or interdimensional something, I've only gotten a little bit of the way through, ensues. This will be one of the next reviews coming out. Books that have not yet been reviewed, but will be. Stitches by Jennifer Cooden. This is semi-autobiographical, contemporary adult about a young woman struggling with depression, abusive parents, and self-harm. Everything from the ages of 12 to 30, the author explained to me, is autobiographical. Everything over the age of 30 is purely fictional, and there is an FF romance. This one will be coming out hopefully next month. Also coming out next month, The Revenants by Mary Hallberg. A high school graduate decides that he wants one last romp with his friends in the graveyard, and things go about as well as the cover describes them going. Prince Noral, Edge of Shadows by J.T. Harris. This is a YA fantasy, in case you couldn't tell from the cover, in which a young prince is possessed with the spirit of a dark spirit from another world, and everyone else decides they really also want it. And he enlists the help of a young woman who is currently going through her father's journals, who might hold the key to uncovering what this is and how we can get rid of it, or make use of his newfound magical abilities. This will also be next month. Honorary mention, and this is the exception, A Part of You from Lyndon Renwick. I DNF'd this. I will not be reviewing this. The full explanation is a whole thing, will probably be its own video. It was actually kind of a screw up on my part, and if you really want to know about it, I can do another video, so comment down below or tweet at me if you're really interested in knowing why this one will not be reviewed. Also, coming up, the physical copies are not here yet, but hopefully they will be here soon and signed, and that is Tavern by Destin Munden. This is basically D&D slice of life, medieval fantasy, where an orc who owns a tavern kind of keeps having trouble walking into that tavern. And tentatively, Paper Flowers by Andy Bart and MM Romance. I have read a sample chapter, however, we have not finished our email exchange as of recording this, so I don't want to say hands down I will be reading it, but I really hope so because I really loved that sample chapter. Also, as a result of all these copies, most of which are signed, I have received many notes and letters. I've also received bookmarks, and these aren't all the bookmarks I have, but I have a habit of deciding I was going to read a book, putting a bookmark in it, then DNFing it, and forgetting to take the bookmark out. So Summer, if you're watching this, at some point in like 6 months, you'll probably get a tweet from me being like, aha, found it, because I do have the bookmark you sent me. But my personal favorite of all the little trinkets sent to me with the books is a packet of flowers. This came with Sinotissini. Monique Quintana knows how to put together a swag package because it was scented, there was a note, the packaging was all pretty, it was great. I've had so much fun with this. Now, if you're keeping count, all of this together, combined with the tentative one that is coming and the one that is definitely coming, currently I have 14 books in my collection. And that is the number right now. It is already on the verge of growing. I've already had multiple indie authors that have sent me messages like, oh, I'm going to be publishing my book in September or October. Would you be interested in a review arc or review copy or an arc when it gets closer? To which I always said yes. Well, tentative yes. I need the synopsis first. So I have a lot. And yes, that is a flex. But here's the thing. I understand that the main reason that I'm getting a lot of these isn't because of my innate awesomeness in being a booktuber. As of this recording, I have 627 subscribers. And I'm really hoping that number doesn't go down or this is going to be sad. And fun fact, at least a couple hundred of those are actually probably leftovers from the days when my channel was just lyric videos. When I started my booktube channel in October of last year, I already had 514 subscribers just from people thinking I was going to be a lyric video channel. Now, a lot of those people have unsubscribed. I have gone up and down a lot, so I can't really be sure how many are actually genuine, but I know it's not a lot. So I know that as a booktuber, I'm not that big. It's not a huge privilege to be reviewed by me. And I know that a very big part of the reason that I got all these books, that I have 14 either currently with me on an e-reader, sitting in my email, whatever it is, I know that it's because there is a need not being met within the bookish community. Despite the fact that we are all one giant bookish community online, there tends to be some, not lines drawn, but not a lot of bridges extended. What I mean by that is, if you look at the majority of the books being reviewed on BookTube, it is mostly traditional. Now we can get into the whole, oh, it's all YA fantasy or whatever. That's not really what I'm here for. The idea is, it doesn't make sense for us to ignore the indie author community as much as it is ignored. We are as much independent bookish creators as they are on the opposite side of the industry, I guess you could call it. They are independent book writers. We are independent book readers, more or less. Yet we don't have the connection that we should have. it's kind of strange because it makes the most sense. Now, I know on BookTube there's kind of this general, oh, well, reviews don't do well. And honestly, I kind of call false on that. For my channel, my indie reviews do better than any readathon TBR video or readathon vlog I ever do. In fact, if I put the word indie or put indie tags on any video, I know for a fact that it is going to do better in views than any video without it. My most popular video that has over 1,000 views right now is indie book related. And a lot of the people that subscribe to me for the indie books. And again, I don't think that that's because I'm this fantastic creator that is just so sought after. It's because I'm making indie books a very big focus on my channel, and that's not something a lot of booktubers should do. And while at the beginning of my channel, I was kind of like, oh, look at me, I'm so unique being the indie booktuber. I've gotten really overwhelmed recently because I've had to start turning away requests for review because the kind of book they offered me wasn't my cup of tea. And I am only one person, and I can't be a one-woman army for indie reviews. So I come to the question, why aren't more booktubers doing it? My theory, my hypothesis, and I know people are probably going to want to shoot it down, is that booktubers are much more focused on looking up than around. There's this sort of idea of if you can be the first person to put out a review of this hyped book, that'll be the thing that gets you more subscribers. That'll be the thing that gets you more views. And honestly, when you're at this size, when you're under 1,000 subscribers, no. My review of Wilder Girls by Rory Power, which was probably the most hyped book that I've ever reviewed, got, I think, like half, not even, less than half of the views that my Only Words review got. As a sister now, my Monstrosity review got like 25 views in 3 hours. And I know to someone who has got like 10,000 subscribers, that's chump change. But when you're under 1,000, those kind of views are nice. So when you're at this size, that level of, oh, if I review this fancy book, this hyped book, that'll be what's it? No. It really doesn't work at all. What does work is putting anything on Twitter with the hashtag indie author, hashtag indie book, one of those hashtags in your tweet, along with the link to the video. I've gotten a lot of subscribers from indie authors or other people who also read indie books. There is such a need, such a gigantic need right now, and it's not being met. Now, there are other booktubers that read indie, not necessarily to the extent of having indie series. It's more like they include indie books in their wrap-ups and all that kind of stuff, which I understand. Reviewing books in a full video actually takes a lot of time. This month has been very crazy for me. And I've come close to a slump a couple times. But we could be doing more. We could be building our own channels. We could be building our own brands. We could be saying F you to major publishers that require people have 10,000 subscribers before they get copies of whatever the next hyped book is. Now, I don't know what the YA indie scene is much like, because I don't read it, but I know that for everyone that loves YA traditional books, there are plenty of YA indie books. So here is my charge to you. It is time for more booktubers to start building their indie review collection. It is time to start building this bridge that, quite frankly, should already be there. So if you are a booktuber watching this, and I know that most channels of this size, most of the subscribers are other booktubers, here is my task to you. Log into your Twitter. I hope you have one. You probably should. It's one of the best marketing tools. Check out the hashtag indie author or hashtag indie books honorary mention, you can also use the hashtag IndieBooksBeSeen and send out a tweet that you are a booktuber that reads whatever genres you read with however many subscribers. I don't know that indie authors care. Like I said, under 1,000, they still sent me a lot. And that you would like to read and review indie books on your channel. You might also want to give your email if you have space for it, or tell them to DM you. I want to see this grow. And I know this feels like a demand because it is one, but there is such a big thing. I get all these booktubers talking about how, I can't get arcs. Yes, you can. Granted, they won't all be like technically arcs. A lot of the books that I have here were sent to me after the book had already been published, but still for free, still signed, still with cool extra stuff, still with a lot of gratitude. I get the emails and the messages. I think, is it this one? Yes. So Summer Kiska wrote in here, "Thank you for your indie support. It means so much to see a reviewer emphasize on the community that is often goes ignored. Thank you for being awesome." They want booktubers that review. So if you're a booktuber that wants arcs and wants to be reviewing things, go to Twitter, go to the indie author community, or just comment down here or below or something. This needs to be built. Like, so badly it needs to be built. So this is my rant that was not very well put together because despite the fact that I wrote notes, I did not once reference them beyond naming the books. So I don't organize well, but I want to see this done at least to a slightly bigger extent. If even a channel with only 1,000 subscribers starts this, or just a couple other booktubers start doing this, we could start putting together something incredible and start having independent bookish creators supporting other independent bookish creators regardless of their subgenre of online bookish community. It's editing, Margaret. I was watching this back and it kind of felt a little bit like I was making myself out to be the only booktuber that reads indie books. I wasn't trying to, however, it came across that way, so I wanted to give a quick shout out to a couple other booktubers that do read and review indie. So a shout out to Unicorn Hunter Books, BannedBrooke, and The Bookish Crypt. I will have their links down in the description below as well if you're interested in following more indie booktubers. So, with my rant done, and my heartfelt plea/demand made, I am so grateful for everyone that watches this, everyone that has subscribed recently, everyone that ever sent me a book, even if I reviewed it 5 stars or 3 stars or DNF'd it. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow.